Be Led, where we talk about life, politics, and maybe get people thinking with their brains instead of not the other end. I don't know if you hear it in the background, but I mean, we are a farm, and right now I got a baby chicken in the house because here is January, and we got a couple hens the size to hatch eggs. So I found this one at the barn, so I had to bring it in. There's so many things we can talk about, but let's talk about the elephant in the room, ice. I hear people complaining how they're increasing ice employment in Minneapolis. Well, I mean, common sense. These people are getting frozen water bottles thrown at them, frozen pea, fireworks shot at them. They're getting jumped. I don't care what side of the fence you are. One woman tried to hit an ICE individual. Of course, the media, they've turned it all around and got some of you yahoos thinking the other way. But if you watch the damn videos and use your eyes and your brain, you can see it was justified. And then another person, ICE individual, man, he's got jumped by 3 people who are illegal, and they're fixing to beat the hell out of them with snow shovels. So he shot one in the leg. Mainstream media, how they portrayed it. ICE individual shoots a person, and that's pretty much the way they left it. They didn't tell the whole story. And unfortunately, that's the way the media is now. They're not telling the whole story. And people, they go to these Democrat Socialist rags, websites, and they get their info, which is, like I said before, is either lies or twisted truth. And there's no such thing as far as I'm concerned as my truth, your truth, and this and that. There's only one truth, and that is the truth. And then they say ICE is snatching kids out of schools. They're not doing that. I mean, that's just BS. I think they did arrest an illegal janitor who was wanted for other crimes in a school, but they weren't snatching kids. And like I said before, Biden administration let 20 million illegals in this country. So we got to do something. We can't just sit on our hands and give them amnesty. That's what Democrats want. Democrat Socialists want, because that's increased their voting bloc, and we'd be in so much trouble if that happened. It'd be unreal. So only alternative is deport them. And yes, there's some individuals that are illegal, gets picked up in some of these things, and they get deported, and they might not have committed a crime, as far as the Democrats look at it. Democrat Socialists, I should say. But the way I look at it, yes, they did commit a crime. When they came over the border illegally, they broke the law. So that's the bottom line. Does my heart go out to some of these people that have been here illegally? Well, on one hand it does, but on the other hand, no. They knew the consequences if they ever got caught. So it was their choice. You know, they could have stayed in their country and tried to make their country better instead of coming here and taking all the benefits that the Democrats and politicians are offering. I just watched the remake of The Running Man yesterday, and that movie holds so true of what we're going through today. The media is controlling what you see, and they're controlling how they perceived it. Like, for some odd reason, white people got Native Americans put on pedestals. Don't get me wrong. I had a lot of friends of Native Americans. I did special ceremonies with the natives. I've danced with them at some of their sacred dances. One, I helped get rid of evil spirits out of houses and such. But I'm a realist. At the end of the day, natives, they go to the bathroom the same way we do. But my point being, somebody made and this is another half truth. 3 Oglala Sioux arrested and detained in ICE facilities. And that's it. See, they want you to think that ICE just grabbed 3 Native Americans because they were Native Americans and arrested them and threw them in an ICE facility. But the bottom line, they're stopping ICE from doing their job. This all can be fixed real easy. People get out of the way and let ICE do their job. Of course, a lot of these people are getting paychecks, and some of them are finally admitting they're getting paychecks. I mean, why do you think they're out in the freezing cold? A normal person wouldn't be out in freezing cold unless they're benefiting from it. So that's the way I look at it. So I use my brain. Nobody leads me around by my nose ring. I can think for myself. And you people out there need to start thinking for yourself. It's not that hard. But when you keep seeing one narrative over and over again, and when the facts don't bear out, like you take ICE, people are saying, oh, they're not being trained. They go through between 8 and 25 weeks, I think, 24 weeks of training. It depends on the people's, what they know before they hired by ICE. Now, you take a lot of cops in Minneapolis, they're quitting the police force, and they're going to ICE for jobs, which I find it interesting. When I first heard it, I didn't buy into it because I thought it was just PR from the right. See, I look at it, if I think PR is wrong on the right, I'm going to call it out. But see, I won't say nothing about it until I know the facts. So now I know the facts, and yes, Minneapolis cops are quitting and going higher on ICE. Now these people, since they're in law enforcement, they don't need a lot of training. So why should they go through 24 weeks of training, or even 8 weeks for that matter, because they're already trained law enforcement? But see, the left and socialist Democrats, they like twisting that crap around, saying that's where they get. But ICE is not getting no training, because they'll take one thing and twist it so wrong that's unbelievable. That's like there was CNN, there was Kristi Noem was on there, and she said, 70% of the people they arrested do have criminal background and warrants and yada yada yada. And CNN said, "Oh no, your figures are wrong. It's only 43%." And Kristi Noem just smiled at her and said, "Your figures are wrong. I can give you all the data." And I guess if she wanted to, she could give them the data and the people that they have taken away and picked up. and a CNN person didn't know what to think or what to say. They get hit with facts and they don't know how to respond. It don't fit their narrative. Because you take a poll or whatever, you go after, you can make that poll to what you want it to be. And Kristi Noem was dealing in facts. She's a rancher's daughter, so she's going to deal in facts. She's not going to look at the world the same way you purple-haired old ladies and all want to look at it. She probably looks at the world black and white, but there are a lot of shades of gray in there. I'm quite not that bad, but I can think for myself. So once again, here I am saying, do your research. Is what I'm seeing. Nobody's doing their research. Once again, but from this podcast, from that last, somebody posted something and I went, took me 2 seconds to dig it up on my phone to contradict them completely what they said. All I had to do was, number one, have an open mind and not go to a website that was going to make me feel good and justify my thoughts. I don't mind being wrong, because working with horses and the type of horses I've worked with, there are times I learn to step back and look at the whole picture. In the same way working with people, I got to step back because, working with horses, I learn a lot about people. So maybe that's why I feel like I'm justified doing a podcast. I never really got into my history. About every job I've had has been in the service industry. I was do electrical work. I used to be able to do heat and air work. I can do some carpenter work. I was in security police / law enforcement in the Air Force. And like I said, I got the privilege of doing what I love doing for a living, and I took it. And that's training horses. And like I said earlier, just a few moments ago, training horses taught me a lot about people. I had to read people. Because if they come with a problem horse, number one, I got to figure out where that problem comes from. Does it come from the person or just by nature? So I have to figure that out before I fix the problem. And it's nature, it's easy to fix, but it's from the person. You got to tell a person what they're doing is not working. So you got to find a polite way to say it most of the time. So, but I try to be as straightforward as I can without hurting anybody's feelings. So yes, I'm going to be 73 years old, and I've been around. I've worked with a lot of people. I've seen a lot. I've lived from one side of the coast to the other. So yes, my thoughts, I do feel like I have something to offer with my way of thinking. You can take it one way or the other. It won't hurt my feelings none. Because everybody's got an opinion. And sometimes it's, it goes along with my way of thinking, and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't mind having a discussion. But you better have a good reason why your opinion is the way it is. Or I'm not going to buy into it, and I'll get my opinion. So I think I've ran my mouth enough. I got horses to feed and water and getting ready for the next cold snap. I got a little chicken to take care of. As you hear it in the background, sorry about that. But anyway, you know, when I do a podcast, I'm welcoming you into my home. That's the way I feel like. And I want to talk to you as if you're here, face to face. Because what I say, I would say right in front of your face. I'm not scared. And we'd have a discussion. And if I see it's not going nowhere, only difference is here I might say, you know, best thing you do, go down the road. Which could leave me other stories, but I'm not going to get into. Especially with a couple of illegals who are working for Lowe's. But that's not going to get into that. So, you know, come on, part note is let ICE do their job. All you people out in the cold, go home. I mean, you're not doing any good. The Democrat city, like Memphis, is Democrat city, and they're working with ICE, and you don't see the problems. They do their job, they get who they after, and they get to go home to their wife and kids or whatever. Just in places like Minnesota, y'all make it hard on them. Just let them do their job. If you let them do their job, they'd be long gone. And the longer y'all be idiots, the harder it's going to be for them to take their job. So, anyway, as I always say, be true to yourself. And God bless and take care, and thank you for listening.